Not everyone has a home, sweet home.
Stop it.
A new bride wants to be a wealthy widow.
He'd been conned and taken for a ride.
A middle-aged matron gets a taste for murder.
I can't even imagine the terror, the betrayal.
Open.
And 3 generations under one roof is an explosive mix.
This was a domestic violence time bomb.
These deadly women turn on those they should love. It's a family tragedy. Old San Juan, Puerto Rico, 2003. A city of opportunity for young Canadian real estate tycoon Adam Enheng.
Everything he touched turned to gold.
When Adam came to Puerto Rico, he was so excited about the potential of the real estate market.
The single 30-year-old is not only seduced by the property market, 25-year-old Aria Vasquez Rijos catches his eye.
Aria was a beautiful girl. She was sexy, blonde, a real bombshell.
She stopped everything when she walked into a room.
Oh, who's that?
That's Adam. He's a zillionaire.
Adam is just her type. Rich.
Trust you to spot him.
Excuse me.
She didn't have much growing up.
Stop it. You're teasing me.
Sorry.
But she was pretty, and her mother encouraged her to use her looks to go far in life.
Do you like to party?
A little, yeah. Well, a lot.
Would you like your own private party?
Aria knows her way around men. And she's happy to pass on her experience.
This is a young guy who's been very protected by very good parents in the suburbs of Canada.
I've been a naughty girl.
She's doing things to him that no woman has ever done before. Ever, never.
Adam's friend, Carlos Torrado, knows all about Aria.
I said, I hear you're going out with this girl, and she's really not somebody you should, keep close.
She's not who you think she is. She's trouble.
Aria was arranging parties for groups of men, and she'd provide scantily clad young women as entertainment.
That's prostitution. It was a ring.
But Adam knows what he's in for. He keeps it strictly business.
He's paying her $500 a night, a couple of times a week.
That's a tremendous amount of money for sex. Wow.
I don't want your money.
Their arrangement continues for 2 years, until the night it all changes.
What's wrong?
I love you.
All right.
No, please let me finish. I'm having your baby.
This beautiful woman says to him, I'm pregnant. I'm Catholic. I can't get an abortion. And what does he do? What he's been brought up to do, to be responsible.
In March 2005, Aria marries her millionaire. Their business arrangement becomes personal. And Adam has a new family. Ready or not.
Put it over there. Yeah. All right, that's good. Okay. Hi.
What are they doing here?
They live here now.
No, they don't.
Yes.
He finds this beautiful mansion, and within a day, he's got his mother-in-law, his sister-in-law, her boyfriend, and her brother living in the house.
He's not happy.
He will do what he's told.
He'd been conned and taken for a ride by little Aria.
To the good life.
Adam feels like an intruder in his own home.
Every time he walks into a room, they're speaking Spanish. Every time he walks into a room, everybody gets quiet.
He felt very unwelcome in his own home.
What are you doing?
I'm leaving.
What?
You heard me.
Just 1 week after tying the knot, Adam's had enough.
He should have left town.
San Juan, Puerto Rico, 2005. Aria Vasquez Rijos' new millionaire husband walks out of their 1-week-old marriage. But she won't let him go that easy.
What, you don't think you have to answer my calls anymore? Look at me when I'm talking to you.
We don't need to talk. We have lawyers to talk for us.
She was harassing him all the time. She was showing up at his work and screaming at him about money.
I will ruin you.
Adam was smart enough to have his wife sign a prenup. He just didn't think he'd be needing it so soon.
The prenup said Aria would get $180,000 for 2 years.
What about a baby, huh?
But he felt like he had an obligation. She was carrying his child.
But Adam's obligation doesn't last long after he orders a test and discovers the baby isn't his
0%.
or Aria's.
There was no baby. He felt like a fool.
Aria wants more than her prenuptial payout. But with her baby scam exposed, she needs another way to leverage her husband. She threatens to ruin his reputation and plants drugs in Adam's car.
More than once, I found bags of weed or bags of cocaine.
The bottom line here is Adam became afraid of her.
And he had every reason to be scared. She had connections in the underworld.
He was afraid of what she was going to do.
Adam wants the harassment to stop,
No, it's all good. You don't have to be sorry for that.
so he makes his wife an offer she can't refuse.
Okay, ciao.
What's the story?
I'm giving her what she wants.
I don't think that's a good idea.
I said, Adam, this is not a good idea. And he says, Carlos, I'm giving her all this money. There's no way she can say no to that.
On September 22nd, 2005, the pair meet on neutral ground. But they'll both get more than they bargained for.
He stabbed Adam more than 20 times. To his neck, his face, his torso.
He hits her once.
Run, baby, run!
Adam's main concern was for her to get away, to run.
His last thought was her safety.
Aria survives. Adam dies before the emergency services arrive.
When police arrived on the scene, it looked like a robbery, but nothing had been taken.
She's still got her purse. He's got his watch. He's got his money and his... What did this guy rob?
And a witness reports something odd.
They saw Aria speaking to the killer while Adam was laying flat on the ground. Then when they wanted to question Aria, she said, "No, I've got to get a lawyer."
Aria sent up a bright red flag to the police when she refused to be questioned. Not too smart.
As a widow, Aria stands to gain far more than a divorcee. But Adam's family are suspicious. They freeze their son's assets as investigators dig deeper. They soon have a match from the witness description. The attacker is Alex Pabon Colon, AKA Crazy Alex. And he sings like a bird.
He had actual hard evidence that he was able to give them in the forms of emails and texts from Aria about the two of them killing her husband.
It's gotta be tonight.
What's in it for me?
Aria, her sister, and her sister's boyfriend
$3 million.
met up with this guy named Crazy Alex.
Okay.
If she was a widow, she'd have a third of his estate, and that was $8 million.
Aria was deft at manipulating naive men, but she had no skills when it came to picking a contract killer.
Crazy Alex was so freaking incompetent. Aria had to remind him, "You're supposed to attack me too."
The fake robbery is exposed. The conspirators arrested and charged with murder. Except one, the mastermind. Aria flees to Europe, where she stays on the run for 7 years. It's not until 2013 that justice finally catches up with Aria.
She landed in Spain and Interpol was sitting there waiting for her at the airport.
For years, she fights extradition to Puerto Rico. Finally, in 2018, Aria Vasquez Rijos is convicted of conspiracy to use interstate commerce facilities in the commission of murder for hire. She is sentenced to life in prison, no chance of parole.
I lost a friend. I lost a real good friend. Adam had no malice in his head. He was really good in business. He was really good as a person, and he would help anybody that was around him.
Adam would have given her anything she wanted.
Aria wasn't happy with a generous customer who became a generous husband. She wanted more.
This woman has no redeeming qualities at all, and she's exactly where she needs to be for the rest of her life. Serial killers have revealed that they feel a tremendous sense of power, an almost God-like feeling.
It's a story as old as time. A bored housewife looking for excitement gets more than she bargains for.
What's the worst thing that can happen to a minister? Sexual infidelity, marital infidelity.
Mr. Moses.
You harlot!
Reverend Wakefield has his world overturned by his unfaithful wife, Pamela.
And this was reputation-destroying behavior. She was a reverend's wife.
In Wales in the mid-1800s, it becomes the talk of the town.
Leave my house now!
Rouse my children.
No. You'll be leaving alone.
That would be the scandal of the year in that community. And he kicked her out, and he maintains custody of the kids.
For a woman with her reputation ruined, the options are few. If she's lucky to have the means, her best hope is to run far away, to start over.
She ended up in New Orleans, which was a good place for her, actually. Had sort of an international feel about the place.
Pamela still has youth on her side, and she's a fresh face in New Orleans society.
She was young, vivacious, sexually appealing.
That man. Why isn't his wife looking after the children?
She passed away. How terrible.
In these times, widowers don't stay single for long. At least not those with means.
Don't they look scrumptious?
Thank you very much, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for coming.
Moses Worms is a successful merchant, raising 2 children on his own.
You must be the new arrival I've been hearing about.
Yes, I've just moved here from Wales.
Very nice. Welcome to New Orleans.
Thank you.
I'm sure she's very sexually attractive to this man, this charming, beautiful young woman.
Well, you should try some.
Perhaps I shall.
Her singular focus was to find a wealthy man to marry. And he was very wealthy. And it seems he took a liking to her.
Pamela has reinvented herself as a widow. Just 2 months after arriving, she marries Moses.
Welcome to the family, my dear.
Thank you.
Pamela hardly misses a beat as she swaps continents and husbands.
Let me get you another drink.
Thank you, Moses. You must tell me all about yourself.
I'm a widow.
Oh, poor dear. Now, where are you from?
But gossip can move as quickly as she does, so Pamela needs to stay ahead of it.
Oh, excuse me.
There were a lot of people from Wales in New Orleans that knew who she was.
She was concerned that her past might catch up with her.
Pamela needs her new husband and family out of town, away from the gossip. So she feigns illness.
Oh, dear.
Pamela was not only greedy, she was very clever. So she got him to relocate.
A cure-all of the time is a move to the country. So Moses's rural property in Illinois becomes their new home for an extended period.
Coming here has saved me.
I'm grateful you're feeling better. But I do miss my family. They haven't even written.
In those days, of course, the only way to hear from family was letters.
But Moses isn't being ignored by his family and friends. He's being cut off.
She kept those letters from him.
Coffee, Mom.
Please.
In this way, she could say that your family doesn't care about you.
Things come to a head when Moses decides to return to New Orleans.
I might pay them a visit.
Whatever you think is best.
That's when Pamela got pretty nervous.
She just can't risk having him out of her sight for any length of time. Somebody else might get his ear, start talking sense to him, and then it's bye-bye Pamela.
Fearing the true story of her past has reached New Orleans and will soon reach her husband's ears, Pamela thinks fast.
She was beginning to panic. She had to get Moses back to Illinois. How best to do that? Arrange an accident for one of his beloved little children.
Down there, right next to those brambles.
He's 12 years old, so he's very impressionable, and she claims that there's some injured animal out in the woods.
Pamela Worms's 12-year-old stepson, Tom, is drowning because she wants him to.
He's holding onto some brush.
My God!
And then she tries to step on him. This poor boy's crying, "Ma, why are you doing this to me? I'm a good boy."
I can't even imagine the terror that he felt and the betrayal.
I mean, who could do that?
With water still on her boots, Pamela reports her stepson missing. And her husband rushes home.
Moses returns as fast as he could. He finds his new wife just distraught.
There's still no sign of him.
She's bewildered and crying and emotionally upset that the boy's not home.
The whole town searching.
Please. You must stay with me.
Of course.
Moses is devastated, and of course, he's not going to go anywhere right now. He is just consumed with grief.
When Tom's body is found in the lake, there are no suspicions.
The biggest cause of death in the colonial period was people drowning. So not very many people knew how to swim.
Pamela's secret past remains hidden. But for how long?
Thank you, my dear.
When Moses's relative, Mrs. Brock, arrives, she becomes a new threat.
Thank you, Lord, for the time we had with him. May he rest in peace.
Amen.
Amen.
Delicious,
Yes,
my
it's
dear.
very nice.
Brimming with news from family, Mrs. Brock becomes suddenly ill. Within hours, she's bedridden, unable to speak.
Allow me, ma'am.
I'll do it.
In the 1800s, people died of intestinal issues a lot.
No.
Open.
No.
Or if they got a bad flu and they didn't recover.
Tragedy strikes again. But this time, it doesn't keep Moses in Illinois.
It's time for us to leave this place.
Whatever you think is best.
It drives him back to New Orleans.
Moses, I think, is feeling like he needs comfort of his extended family.
But their departure is delayed when his 8-year-old daughter falls ill.
If only we'd moved.
You can't blame yourself.
It was a long, drawn-out, torturous event.
Moses is again heartbroken and even more determined to move back home. But Pamela has thought of that too.
I think at some point he realizes, you know, there's kind of no one left in this household, Pamela and me, and I don't think it's looking too good for me.
So he's getting sicker, and a friend comes to visit.
Yo, Moses! What's the matter, Moses?
I'm a dead man.
Moses has only the strength to finalize his will. He dies on October 14th, 1851. Pamela no longer has to worry about her reputation. Everyone who counts is dead. There's just one thing left to do: collect the inheritance.
The sad part about it is that she went through all this effort, but he had taken her out of the will. So she's left with nothing.
Pamela's world unravels.
Rumors start flying. And then, of course, there's the friend who heard from the dead man's lips, my wife is doing this to me.
Yeah, my wife has poisoned me.
And Moses's autopsy proves devastating.
His body is just full of poison. Arsenic, blue rocket, which is a vegetable kind of poison. He's just filled with poison.
And who was tending him? Who was his favorite nurse? His poisoner wife, Pamela.
Pamela Worms is arrested. In 1851, she is convicted of the first-degree murder of her husband. She is sentenced to death by hanging. Awaiting execution, she shows no remorse. Instead, she wants a local pastor to record her confessions. All of them.
Hello, Pastor.
Are you ready?
Of course.
She chose to tell her whole story, every awful detail.
What a wretch I was.
Pamela addressed killing multiple people like a grocery list. I killed this person, I killed that person. There was no emotion attached.
I need not dilate on the death of my aged husband. The evidence in court was both accurate and explicit.
Her pathology was so destructive that she was not going to stop killing people until she got what she wanted.
It's a good thing Pamela Worms' serial killer career was stopped when she was 37, or the body count would have been a lot higher.
Good morning.
They needed each other, perhaps loved each other, but they needed to fight. A blind man could see where this was going.
Mothers and daughters can have complicated relationships. And in Perth, Australia, in 2015, Helen Lavina and her mom, Ella, are having a bad time.
Mama! Turn that off!
Small things began to irritate them and drive a wedge in between them, such as her mother waking up at 4 in the morning and turning on the television.
Fate has brought them together under the same roof, and it's not working out.
Mama! Turn it off! I can't sleep. Please give it back.
These things would crop up from time to time, the arguments and the yelling, but it seemed to be a short time frame and then it was over and dealt with.
Brokering the peace is Helen's 24-year-old daughter.
Good morning, Mother.
Morning, darling. Good morning.
Life threw the three together when 57-year-old divorcee Helen injured her back.
Helen was doing very well for a long time, working in various IT departments of major corporations, and then she had an accident.
I didn't mean any harm.
I know, it's just my back hurts so much. I need sleep.
After several surgeries, she wasn't much better and eventually had to take a physical disability and was unable to work.
Perhaps I should be paid to look after you.
Come on, you two.
She wasn't able to interact with people. She was no longer socially inclined in her neighborhood.
But her mom, Ella, loves company.
Ah, these are my favorite.
Oh, I've never seen them before.
Oh, you love them.
She has regular visitors from her local church.
These are delicious.
The women from the church would come over frequently and sit and talk with her. I think Ella appreciated the feminine companionship.
It's another source of conflict.
Oh, you remember my daughter? Mama, can I see you for a minute?
Close quarters, bad feelings, all contributed to an environment of tremendous tension.
The temperature rises with each passing day.
You stupid cow! Don't talk to me like that.
Helen actually told one of the neighbors that she hated her mother, called her a bitch. Not something that even an unloving daughter would want to say.
Helen even takes the extraordinary step of calling the police.
My mother is destroying my house. I need the police.
So Helen actually called and said that she'd been assaulted by Ella and that she was suffering dementia.
It was no accident.
But there's little evidence to support Helen.
When police attended, they didn't see any injuries and there was no complaint of injuries at all.
I just want you to take her away.
Helen wanted the police to take Ella away, but of course, there was no reason.
I just want her out of here.
Police offer help, but Helen brushes them off.
There's hope you can get.
She's become frustrated and annoyed and just told the police to leave and get out. There's no problem.
Ella has had enough. She takes matters into her own hands.
Hi there, how can I help you?
I need somewhere to live on my own.
She started to make moves with the public housing officials to get her own place.
And where are you currently residing?
With my daughter.
Really?
It was because she felt threatened at points in time, so she made those arrangements to be able to live somewhere else.
But nothing between this mother and daughter is easy.
A blind man could see where this was going. This was a time bomb.
In the suburbs of Perth, Australia, the maternal bond between Helen Lavina and her 76-year-old mother, Ella Jeremiah, is broken. Under the same roof, they fight over everything.
What are you doing?
Especially money.
You steal money from your own mama?
Ella had pension checks. Helen had a small disability check, but it wasn't enough.
There's bills to be paid. You owe me.
They would argue with money. It was sometimes heated.
You make money out of me.
They were dependent on blaming each other for their problems and arguing. Now we have the added factor that Helen has become dependent on her mother's money. And this is never a good thing between adults.
Ella's escape plan is underway. Soon she'll be free.
It's perfect.
Glad you like it.
When can I move in?
Next Tuesday.
She loves it, agrees to go in the next day, sign the papers, and pick up the keys.
I'll be back soon.
There's just one more thing. Telling her daughter.
What have you got there? You've been to the housing department. I can't live here any longer. What have you done to me?
On the evening of February 22nd, 2016, plans change.
The evidence shows that Helen just snapped. It didn't seem to be a premeditated event. Helen just used tools, instruments that were at hand. She used a kitchen knife. She used a scissor.
First, hurting her so badly in the head, it removed a piece of her scalp and skull. She stabbed her multiple times in both of her legs, indicating the rage that Helen felt for her mother.
Years of frustration come to this. Helen kills the woman who brought her into the world.
Helen had to decide what to do. Part of it was disposing of the body. The other part was cleaning up all the blood, because her kitchen looked like a crime scene. She certainly didn't want her daughter to discover her in this bloody kitchen with her own mother dying in her arms.
Ella's new home will be the garden.
Hi. Has Babushka gone to bed already?
No. She's moved out.
When she asked her mother,
where's she gone?
Her religious friends came and got her.
Helen said Ella went away with the religious people that she had become friends with.
Probably for the best.
That this was a good thing for Ella.
Intergenerational peace lasts for 9 days, until disturbed by the family pet.
She's gone outside and she's noticed that the dogs were moving in and around the areas of the bins, and that's when she's noticed what appeared to be a human body. She was scared, and so she called police straight away.
I think there's a body in our yard.
Of course, it turned out to be Ella's.
With a history of conflict noted by police and neighbors, they're soon a prime suspect. Investigators find Helen doesn't just have a history of animosity with Ella. She has her ID, her credit card, and her life insurance policy.
Now things were becoming crystal clear.
Surveillance footage seals Helen's fate. She's caught withdrawing money from her mother's account.
Helen pleaded not guilty, still saying her mother ran away with the religious people, despite the fact that her body was found in the backyard.
She fools no one. In 2017, Helen Lavina is convicted of murder. She is sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 20 years. A mother's love is one of the most powerful forces on earth. And so is a daughter's anger. Helen and Ella were like two whirling planets, locked in each other's gravitational pull.
The truth of the matter is, she couldn't live with her, and she couldn't live without her. And in the end, she decided to kill her. She preferred to kill her than to let her go.
If people can't stop fighting, they should get away from one another.
These deadly women destroyed happy homes. Aria Vasquez Rios' big dreams turned to lethal greed. Pamela Lee Worms took innocent lives to maintain her own. And Helen Lavina's simmering hostility erupted in savage matricide. All three women chose a dark path in life. They were the blackest sheep in a family tragedy.